أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين والصلاة والسلام على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala out of His grace and mercy to bless us this night, which is a night that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose to deliver a message that will keep a human being a human being. There are actions that a person will perform that are bad actions, but a person will still remain within the bounds as a human being. But there are certain actions when performed, the person no longer stays as a human being. The recitation of the Holy Quran is one of those actions that if they are not performed, if a person does not recite the Holy Quran, they get out of the realm of being a human being. So to be able to save our humanity, the recitation of the Holy Quran is a must. The night that you and I are in, the importance of it is non-describable. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that you cannot understand what the night of the Qadr is. Reason why perhaps we cannot understand is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will deliver certain information, certain orders, certain events and scenarios, specific amount of sustenance. Of all of the things that are going to be delivered, the capacity to hold that is the Imam of the time. So if we were to understand Laylatul Qadr, we would have to have the capacity or the ability or the status of the Imam of the time, which we do not have, or anyone else. This night is one of the biggest proof for the Shias that the Imam of the time is alive and he's present. Because Surah Qadr tells that all of that is delivered tonight and there is a person who receives it. The points that we are going through, as I said to you before, that I don't think we will be able to go through all of them. I think we're on the, which one are we at? Sixth. Yeah, so we had 24 more, and we only have 9 days left. So, but anyways, yesterday we talked about the different that the Quran has the ability for the different times that are there. As we gave you I think one of the examples that everybody understood was the train example. That the life is like a train, you're going one way, and then you have stops where you have certain things that you're able to have, and if you miss that stop, then you miss it, right? What are the best times for the recitation of the Holy Quran? What we have in traditions is between the sunrise, Fajr and sunrise. We also have midnight. Middle of the night, recitation of the Holy Quran. When you look at our scholars, they had this as a tradition, not as a tradition but a routine, maybe not as a routine but as discipline. That Imam Moulana used to recite 8 times during the day. 8 times were specified for the recitation of the Holy Quran, and all of his schedule, him being very, very busy. I don't think any one of us can say that we are more busy or we can be more busy than a person who is a supreme authority for all of the Muslim Ummah. He recited 8 times during the day, and he scheduled is everything around that. If we recite even once, we feel pretty good. Like we feel like we've achieved something. So I would suggest that you take a look at your schedule and pencil in Quran in there. Or you can make the schedule of the recitation of the Quran and then pencil in your regular day-to-day routine. When you have things to do, when you write that, things to do would come into the schedule of being able to recite the Holy Quran 3 or 4 times a day. And then, okay, in the morning, between sunrise, I have to recite the Holy Quran. Then I will go to the office, this, that, the other. Then before Zohar, I will recite the Holy Quran. Then I will recite Zohar prayers. Then I will, manage it that way. Because if you can do that, there's a lot of blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bestow upon you. And the biggest blessing is that you will remain a human being. If you don't recite it, there's no guarantee that you will be a human being. We don't look at the Quran this way. We think that we are born a human being, we're going to die a human being. You're born with the potential to become a human being, but you don't die as a human being. In the process, you can become an animal, you can become a plant, you can become a tree, you can become an ocean, you can become a mountain, you can become a stone, you can become anything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, and you can also become a human being. But to be able to become a human being, we have to recite the Holy Quran because it will make us a human being. Okay? So just because I look like a human being doesn't mean I am one. What will determine whether I am one or not would be my life to see whether I recited the Holy Quran, I understood the Holy Quran, I applied the Holy Quran in my life. I dealt with people according to the Holy Quran. I delivered the rights of individuals according to the Holy Quran. I worked according to the Holy Quran. I earned through the Holy Quran. I had a family through the Holy Quran. I raised children through the Holy Quran. I lived a life based on the Holy Quran. Therefore, I am a human being. And therefore, now that I die as a human being. Right? There's no guarantee that we will die as a human being. You're still looking at me, no, I'm a human being. As Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, Rabbi anta waliya fi dunya wal akhirah. Or Fatir samawati wal arz. Anta waliya fi dunya wal akhirah tawaffani musliman walhiqni bis salihin. He's saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you are my wali, you are my protector, you are my sustainer, you are my authority, you are my Mawla in this world and the hereafter. Do not let me die, but in a state of submission, in a state of Islam, and connect me to the people that are salih. Hazrat Yusuf ﷺ is asking this prayer. That means that if he is saying this, we should definitely understand that not necessarily most of us will die as a Muslim or as a human being or be connected to the people that are salih. ठीक है? Yes, no? Yes, but we will still do our own schedule. We will still have, yes. You can recite the salawat, please. So, as we become a human being, there are many different milestones. Just like the development of a baby, there are different milestones that the baby will go through until it is, has reached the last milestone in the womb of the mother, and then there is the part where we come into this world, right? No. We are already in this world. Because our mothers are in this world, so are we. So all of our date of births are wrong. Mine being whatever legal, it's all wrong. Nobody knows exactly what their date of birth is, right? So anyways, as the baby develops, so does a human being in the womb of earth. This earth that we live in is like a womb. And in there, we go through different stages or milestones. But as the baby grows, it's only one place where the baby is going to become. Like it's going to just become a baby. It's not going to become anything else. But in the womb of earth, we have the opportunity to become anything. You can become, and when I say you, I'm also included. So don't think that I'm not included. When I say you, I see you as me. Okay, you're no different than me. You're no separate than me. You are me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I've created from nafs wahid. I've created you from one self. Meaning what? All of the life that you have lived, if I was to trade places with you, 99.9% of the time I would have done the same thing. And if you were to trade places with me, 99.9% of the time, you would have done the same thing. We all have this one similarity that we all grow in the womb of this mother from material to metaphysical. And there are milestones. So these milestones, if you were to put Quran as a way of reaching those milestones, you can. And even the milestones, what we have reached here is just a projection in the hereafter. So don't think you're going to reach milestones there. You already reached those milestones here. Over there is just a projection. Like right now, whatever I made myself, you cannot see. You see a barrier. You see a hijab. You see a restriction. What is that restriction? There's a hijab, that is why you're not able to see what I am. Right? The biggest hijab is the skin. Biggest hijab is the biggest organ is the skin. You're just looking at my skin. Right? You can't see my, thank God you can't see my, the rest of the stuff. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed barriers, right? There's barriers and barriers and barriers, and So on the day of judgment, these hijabs, these barriers are going to be lifted. So when they're lifted, we'll be able to see what we made ourselves here. But what we are going to make ourselves is here, not in the hereafter. Hereafter is just a projection. It's just because right now we cannot see. Over there we will be able to see. The only difference is the hijabs are going to go. Okay? If you can recite the salawat, there's a tradition from Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. Imam says that Anna darajat al-Jannah ala adad ayat al-Quran. That definitely for sure that the darajat al-Jannah, meaning the levels in heaven. And heaven has many levels. Infinite number of levels. Infinite number of levels. It depends on the person which level they're going to be. Right? So he says that definitely darajat al-Jannah ala adad ayat al-Quran. He says definitely there are darajat in the hereafter, in heaven, according to what? The ayat, the verses of the Holy Quran. So now this will make how many darajat? According to the tradition, says the ayat of the Holy Quran, that is the how many levels there are in heaven. How many? 6,000 something. 6,000 something, but each verse has a daraja, has a level in one, which is a zahir, which is the meaning. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise belongs to Rabb of the multiverses. Right? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. What does that mean? Go ahead, please. Come on. Wrong. See? Beneficence is the byproduct of mercy. Beneficence is the byproduct of mercy. Bismillah means like, okay, with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rahman, entirely merciful, especially merciful. Because Rahman is the entirety of mercy, that if you are a creation, you're within that boundary. And Rahim is special mercy, which not everybody is going to have. You have to be eligible by choice, actions, taqwa, all of the good stuff to be able to enter into that special mercy. Right? So this is like one level, which is just the meaning. So if you, and what was the first level? This was the second. But yes, the Arabic. So the Arabic is the first level, second level is the meaning, and then you can go on with just one verse. You can keep on going into different levels. Right? What does Rabb mean? The understanding of Rabb, the understanding of Alameen, the understanding of Hamd. You can go into, again, many different levels, and then other levels, and so forth. Me? So let's say if a person only recites the Holy Quran, which level are they at? First level. How many levels were there? 6,000 plus so many, infinite. Hey, no, afsos, sad, regretful, tasuf, afwan, whatever you want to say. It's that you had infinite number of levels. Just when I say you, me too, okay? We contented on just recitation. There's meaning and so forth. Okay? So, أن درجات الجنة على عدد آيات القرآن فإذا كان يوم القيامة يقال لقارئ القرآن اقرأ وارقى. So all of these different levels of heaven, there are there as many as the verses of the Holy Quran. When it is the day of judgment, it will be said to the Qari of the Holy Quran, recite and elevate. So recite and elevate. If a person just knows just the Arabic, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, which level am I at? One. Right? If he knows the meaning of Bismillah, which the closest meaning is this: beneficence is a product of mercy. It's not mercy. Raham, I'm just saying, giving you another level of heaven, okay? I'm distributing levels of heaven here, right? No? Yes. Inshallah, that we're all at the level of the Shias of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. Rahamim is the root word of Rahman and Rahim. And Rahamim, means there is an emotion that a person will feel when they see someone not able to do something on their own. Because we are Mumkin al-Wujud, our Mumkin al-Wujud means that our existence is dependent. We are not in existence without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He is Wajib al-Wujud, He is independent in existence. Therefore, when He sees us, doesn't matter any creation of His, cannot do anything on their own. Therefore, He has the word becomes projected in all of His creation as Rahman. Okay. And then on the other side, the special mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is something that you want to elevate yourself. You cannot do it yourself. So He brought the Holy Prophet, Ahlulbayt, the Holy Quran, and all of the guidance, so that you can utilize that and then be eligible for the special mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So therefore, Rahman ar-Rahim, not beneficent, is both mercy. Entirely special. See? So now, and then there is another level. You can go through the tafsir of the Holy Quran, right? Then there is a level where you act upon the Holy Quran, the verses. Yes? So, I'm sure you're already doing that, right? Then another level, I'll tell you another level, which you might not be doing. This one you're doing for sure. Like, meaning acting on Quran, right? So this, some of you are looking at me, no. We're still stuck at the first level. Okay, so you just, because there's infinite levels, of course, we're not going to go over everything, but tafsir is another level. Then every action that you perform, you give relevance to the Holy Quran. You give relevance to the Holy Quran. You remind yourself as of the relevance of the verses of the Holy Quran. Like for example, the children, if you are being kind and respectful to your parents, there's a verse in the Holy Quran that tells you. You think of that verse and then you are merciful or respectful to your parents. Rabbirhamhuma kama rabbayani saghira. Or the verses that say that you need to obey your parents or have respect for your parents. Meaning direct or indirect, right? When you're going for sustenance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is razik. You give nisbah. In short, you can give nisbah to each and every action of yours from the verses of the Holy Quran. And if you do the nisbah to the verses of the Holy Quran, your actions will become a level as long as you're performing in heaven. With me? Oh yeah? Then there's other levels too. But I think so far okay? Yes? Yeah, okay. You can recite a salah. Then, like I was saying to you, the different levels. So, it's not just about the recitation. It's about the other things that we have to do. There is a tradition from Imam Bakr where he says that the Holy Prophet has said that anyone at night, if they were to recite, okay, 10 verses, they will not be counted among the heedless. Remember, I told you from the beginning that if we don't build our relationship with the Holy Quran, we no longer remain human beings. This is something that basic or something that is that necessary. If you want to be a human being, we have to have a relationship with the Holy Quran. So if a person was to recite 10 verses, they are not going to be counted that day among the heedless people. So if I go to sleep without reciting 10 verses, how am I counted? Among the heedless. Ghafilin, the people who are heedless. Okay. Then if anyone was to recite 50 verses, they will be written as the people who remembered. Not heedless, people who remembered. Right? Then if you were to recite 100, you will be among the obedient servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you were to recite 200, your name will be written among the people who have khashiyat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Khashiyat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that it is only the ulama among the ibad that have the khashiyat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Khashiyat is a state in which you feel yourself to be so small in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Like, if you don't feel small sometimes, look up at the sky. If you ever feel, when I say, like okay, so don't upload, you're good with this, right? I don't have to give more disclaimers. So if you feel, or I feel, that I'm somebody, go outside, look at the sky. You'll see yourself to be this big. You're sitting on the youngest planet in this universe and the smallest planet on this universe, while the whole of the universe is looking down upon you or up, depending on point of reference. And the planets and stars that are there, they are trillion times bigger than this planet or this sun. Right? That's the best way of being humble. Literally, you have the sky all the time. You have the sky all the time, no, here in New Zealand? It's not something, not always. Okay, clouds, okay. You have the clouds all the time. They're still high up. I know they look a little bit, okay, you maybe have a little bit of takabbur, but they're still, you can see that you are small. And the sky is actually an illusion. It doesn't really exist. It's the refraction of the ozone which creates this blue hue and the different like gases. Otherwise, there's no sky. When you look up at night, you don't see the sky. You just need to see space. Not to go too much now, right? So regardless of whenever you look up, you're looking up at space, whether you see the blue and or not. Okay. It's also a very good way to make your problem small. If you ever think that you is too much, the problem is too big, just keep looking up and your problem will become very small. So depression, anxiety, this is the best way to get rid of it. Just look up and then everything becomes small. Okay? And if anybody was to recite 300 verses of the Holy Quran, then they will be written among the ones that are righteous. And if someone was to recite 500 verses of the Holy Quran every night, they will be among the mustahids and the ones that are in battle against the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Levels in heaven according to the recitation of the Holy Quran. And like I said, with each verse of the Holy Quran in Arabic and then so forth and so on. Why? So it's up to us which milestone we want to reach. And the milestones you can reach through the Holy Quran. But you see, the thing is, we because we don't see the Quran this way, that's why we don't get benefit from the Quran that way. This I keep on repeating. If you change your perception, if you start looking at the Holy Quran differently, Quran will mold itself to you. It will shape itself to you. You will start receiving the benefits that way. But if you just look at it as a dead book, as something which is just there to get spiritual cash, which you can spend on your vacation in heaven, then that's how it's going to look at you. Yes or no? Spiritual cash, vacation. No, it didn't look good. It didn't sound good. But that's the way we look at it. That's the way it is. You know what? I will work really hard right now. I won't eat that much. I won't sleep this much. I won't do all of this. Is what we do during our day-to-day life. But I will get 2 weeks off. I'll get 3 or 4 weeks off. And then when I'm in vacation, I will go and eat and all of that. It's basically what we're trying to do. Okay, for a little while, 60, 70 years, we try to hold ourselves and not go too much. But I have vacation coming up for eternity, and I can use all my spiritual cash, and I can have, gardens there, I can have property there, I can have like a huge mansion there, my vacation home, and then I will have servants and so forth. This is the heaven that we are wanting with spiritual cash. We will have that. It's not that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised and He's not going to give. He will. But when you get there, you will see that there were so many levels, infinite number of levels in heaven where we could have reached, and we decided that spiritual cash was enough. Right? And it is the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He will take that thought away from you when you enter into heaven, that there was other levels. Otherwise, the depression in heaven is going to be so much. And I could have, I think I mentioned to you that the Shias of Imam Ali alayhi salam, people, did I mention that to you? This hadith, that Imam Ali alayhi salam said, the Shias of mine. Now, when I say Shia, don't get too happy that we're talking about you. Okay? We're talking about Hazrat Salman Farsi, we're talking about Hazrat Abu Zar Ghafari, we're talking about them. They are the Shias of Imam Ali alayhi salam. If you say, oh, Hazrat Abu Zar is also Shia, I'm also Shia, I'm sorry. Maybe you are, I don't know, but I'm sorry. More than likely not. Okay. Hazrat Salman is the one that Rasulullah said, Minna Ahlulbayt, that he's from us, Ahlulbayt. He reached that level. Now, is he at the same status as Imam Ali or the rest of the Ahlul? No. But because he shaped and molded himself so much, he looked like the Ahlul Bayt. His actions looked like the actions of Imam Ali. His character looked like the character of Imam Ali. His worldview looked like the worldview of Imam Ali. Not that it was, it looked like. So what level did he reach? Everyone's waiting for heaven, Salman. Heaven is waiting for you. That's a Shia. I'm saying, no, I'm a Shia too. I'm sorry. It's better to apologize now than later. We can become that. Okay? Salawat for them. So Imam says that the level of my Shias, that's clear now, is so much, the distance is so much, that it's like a person on the earth looking at the stars. Where the stars are, there is the place of my Shias, and the rest of the people that are not Shias, they are looking from earth like a person looks to the stars. They're looking from heaven to the level of my Shias that way. And who are these? They're the ones who love us from their heart. They help us from their tongue. And they fight our enemies shoulder to shoulder. Those people are going to have that status. Right? And then the ones who love us, you know how you can help Ahlulbayt and Hassan with your tongue? Is by having this program. It's their traditions, it's their sayings, it's their amr that we are trying to do ahya. Right? Imam Jafar Sadiq asked the people, he asked the people, do you come together and do you discuss of our sayings? Do you do ahya of our amr, meaning our sayings? The person said yes. Imam said, I wish I could be there. It's the wish of Imam Jafar Sadiq that could be part of gatherings like this. Even, I'm not saying about me as a speaker or you as an audience, just the whole thing about talking about their traditions, talking about their teachings, regardless of who is the audience or who the speaker is. But if you're doing that, you're doing ahya of their amr. And if you're doing the ahya of their amr, the sixth Imam says, I wish I was among them. Right? Then he also said that Moulana, be for us a source of beauty. Do not be a source of shame for us. Right? So when you help Ahlulbayt from your tongue, whether it's madrasa, this is also helping. If you tell someone else the tradition of Ahlulbayt, that's also helping. Right? So, and then he said that the ones who love us and help us with their tongue, but they don't fight shoulder to shoulder with our enemies, they will be 2 levels down. And the one who just loves us will be in heaven. Meaning what? Will be the one looking at the Shias like a person would look from the earth to the stars. Okay? Yes? Okay, alhamdulillah. So, this is, I think, clear. Trying to go a little bit fast, but also, so I'll just go a little. I will go a little bit fast. So the recitation of the Holy Quran, do it tartibi, meaning when you start, if you were to make the intention that from now on you're going to start reciting the Holy Quran, open the Quran from the very beginning. And every day when you're reading 10 or 50 or 100 or 200 or 300 or 500 verses, go in tartib. Go from beginning to all the way to the end. When you reach the end, then you start again. Like Surah Waqia, Surah Rahman, these are good. If you have that in practice to recite, they are recommended, you should. But the way, the discipline or what has been told to us from the traditions of Ahlulbayt al-Muslim is that you recite it every day from the beginning till the end. As soon as you get to the end, you go back. And you will notice that as you go through this tartib, your day, because every day is different, when you go in this tartib, you will find that whatever happened during the day, the Quran will be giving you some sort of solutions or feelings that will help you for that day. If you go like that. We notice this this year in the month of Ramadan, Dr. Sahib, he recites Quran and no one comes to listen to him, Like he's by himself in the beginning, though 2 people, 3 people, and then later on, people start showing up, and then just to come to listen, for example, to me. But Dr. Sahib, no. Why? Because he's reciting Quran. Me, I don't know why. Right? So they don't come, and he's reciting every day from Surah Fatiha, and he started. When there was the martyrdom of Imam Hamnai, that day the verses that were there, they were all about do not consider the one, Allah tahsabanna alladhina qutilu fi sabilillahi amwata. The verses were on that topic. And if you were to listen to that day that Dr. Sahib recited, it was all of the events that had unfolded. It was all that we needed to hear that day. It wasn't like we did it, planned it, nothing. Right? So it's recommended that you go through tartibi. ठीक है? हो गया ये? Yes? Now the other one, recite a salawat. We're covering two today. If you need more, I can give you more, but I don't know. Just to finish checklist of 30 doesn't make sense. So if it's okay, then the other thing about it is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, okay, so I told you that our schedule has to be molded around the Holy Quran. Now, I'm not saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't know that you have your daily routine. Okay? There is a hadith from the Holy Prophet, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, says that he says that I understand that you are busy. You have things that you are busy. Alima anna sayakunu minkum marda. I understand that there are some of you that are sick. I know that some of you are yadribuna fil ard. You are hitting the earth, meaning you are going to work for your yabtaguna min fadlillah. You are going to work to get the fadl or the mercy or the sustenance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I know some of you are in the battlefield. He said, I understand that all of that, right? But having all of that, whatever is that you can, you must do. Okay. It's not like the Holy Prophet is saying that I don't understand that you have to work, and I don't understand that you are sick, or I don't understand that there are some of you that, are in the battlefield. I understand all of that, but that does not give us the word I'm looking for is excuse, because excuse is a disease. It's called excusitis. Have you heard of it? Excusitis? It's very, very common. Like the flu. It's very common, excusitis. As soon as now you're looking like you never heard of it. Excusitis is a contagious disease that spreads as soon as a person says something, right? For example, ready? The person says, it was very hot today. Right? It was very hot today. Yes, it was so hot today. It was so hot, I couldn't do anything. I was home all day. I wanted to go out, but I couldn't go out because it was so hot. You are right. It's like UV is not there. We're going to get sunburned. It's best we did not go to the picnic that they organized. It's good that we did not go. Otherwise, we would have been part of those people who are getting all of this sunburn. Right? So, you know what else? Tomorrow is supposed to rain. Oh no, I can't do anything. Rain is no good. It's depressive weather. Right? It was very hard. How was the work? It was very terrible, very, very difficult. Oh yes, I had a very hard day. So as soon as we hear the excuse, The other person gets it contagiously like the flu, and then the excuses start. Right? And before you know it, the whole community, the whole people, everybody is like pandemic. Everybody has, excuse-itis. And excuse means you have something that you're supposed to do. You are sick, you're this, you're that, you have a valid reason. Being excused doesn't mean that you don't have to do that task. If you're sick, if you're working, if don't, like none of us are in the battlefield, right? It doesn't mean that now you cannot recite Quran. It means that for that amount of time, we let you go. But the rest of the time that is there, which you can do, excuse-itis doesn't work there. You know how like in the old days, when you had to go out of the class, you would say, excuse me, can I be excused? Yes? You guys don't have that, young people. But like when our teacher would come, everybody would stand up. So when I got here in grade 9, it was like French class, and the teacher comes in and I'm standing and everybody's looking at me, what is going on? But this is how we used to do in Pakistan. The teacher comes, we stand up. So, that when you said, can I be excused, that doesn't mean you don't come back to class. Because you said, can I be excused, now nothing, like you go home. You can't go home. It's for that time period, okay, you're excused. You go to the washroom or whatever it is, then you come back. We take it in a way that, because I'm working, because I'm doing this, I don't have any time for Quran. No. Sometimes do this with social media. Sometimes do this with other stuff that you do. Right? Oh, yeah. So now we don't look at the Quran that, okay, you know what? Okay, 10 verses, 50 verses, 300 verses, 500 verses, all of this. And I don't know. You have so many ways. If one verse, you were to implement that in your life, you will see that so many other verses will automatically fall in place. There was a Bedouin who came to the Prophet. There were companions there, and the Bedouin asked, said, I've heard there's a Prophet that has come, can I see him? And they said, okay. They take him to the Prophet. The Prophet sees him and he says, can you tell me something about your religion? He says that the Quran says that if you were to do an atom worth of bad or good, you will see it. Right? So the Bedouin said, okay, and left. So the companions, like, Bedouin came, Bedouin gone. Just like this verse, a little bit, and then he's done. We have seen the revelation come down, so many verses we know. And the Prophet said, don't say that a Bedouin came and a Bedouin went. Say a Bedouin came and a faqih went. Faqih is a person who has deep understanding of some subject or topic. Right? So there's no excuse-itis. There's no excuse as far as the Quran is concerned. Okay? And there are verses in the Quran too that you should recite ma tayassara min al-Quran. Whatever that it is, maqdoor for you. Whatever it is possible for you, you recite. Okay? So inshallah. So yesterday too, I slipped my mind that I thought like as far as the hardship of Imam Ali alayhi salam, that yesterday I had a bit of confusion about the time that I was supposed to finish 10:50. But the thing is, okay, the hardships that befell on Imam Ali alayhi salam are non-describable. There's one thing, this is the tradition. It is the history that we have. That history tells us the history of events of Imam Ali alayhi salam. But the masa'ib of Imam Ali alayhi salam are different. That is the history. The Masaib are different. The Masaib of Imam Ali was when he was alive among people, he would tell them to do something and they would not do. That's the musibah of Imam Ali. He would tell them to go to war and they will sit down. They will complain about the weather. It's too hot, it's too cold. That's the musibah of Imam Ali. That after Ghadir, 110 or 130, over 100,000 Muslims, they were present the whole day it took. And then afterwards they said, they did bi'ah on Imam Ali's hand. They congratulated him of the status as the Mawla of everybody. And then after that, the Prophet is there for 3 days, no one's coming to bury him. And then all of this is all hijacked, taken in another direction, where Imam Ali tried to do the best that he could. There was the circumstances that were there. And then the whole of Islam goes another direction. And then he says salams to people and no one replies. No one says wa alaikum salam. Bibi Fatma Zahra, she has to knock on people's doors. Imagine the Lady of Light coming out of the house, who lived a life in which even a blind person would come and Bibi would have hijab. She would be behind a barrier. She would not talk to him in person. The Prophet says he's blind. She said that he is blind. I'm not. For a person like that to come out of the house and knock on people's doors, like what has happened to you? Have we forgotten? Right? These musibahs, and then he goes through 25 years. Like it's unimaginable. This is not history. These are actual masaibs. The history is what is narrated, but the actual musibah, if you were to, is to be felt, not to be recited. Maqtal is not to be recited, it is to be felt. That you place yourself with the empathy that you have in the shoes of Imam Ali and try to feel the emotions that if you were in his place and people came to your door and crushed your wife between a door and a wall, how would you feel when you had the ability and the power to take care of anyone? You were known as a person who, in front of whom nobody could stand. And you had to hold yourself because of the wasiyat of the Holy Prophet. Because the Prophet had said that, Ali, if you were to take your sword out that day, Islam will finish. And you have to be dragged in street. That as you're dragged out of the house, your wife tries to stop and her hand is removed physically. And the children have to see their father being dragged out. Masahib of Imam Ali are to be felt. They're not to be recited. And then on top, when we feel this empathy, when we feel, it's not about sympathy with Imam Ali. Imam Ali doesn't need our sympathy. Imam doesn't need our sympathy, he needs empathy. Meaning what? Put yourself in my shoes and then find a solution. Find something that, because Imam can see us right now. Imagine on Friday, all of our actions are produced in front of him. And when he sees those actions, if his heart is in pain, and we listen to his masahib, and we still did the same thing as the people of the past, who he would say, do this, and they don't do. It's hard to imagine that Imam Hassan would have to see Imam Ali's head being opened. A son looking at the father, a father like Imam Ali, the wound is so big. What am I supposed to do? There's no surgeons at that time. There is no stitches at that time. What am I supposed to do? You take a cloth and hold the head of Imam Ali. He lost so much blood, the poison that was there was eating through his body. He survived from the 19th. His face had gone so yellow that the cloth that was put on was yellow color. Couldn't tell where the cloth is and where the face of Imam Ali is. And the orphans were crying outside because they were losing someone who was a support to them. The widowers were crying outside. We are crying outside, Imam. We don't have our Imam of the time. We are orphans. We are orphans, as Mujtaba says that our enemy is come together. We are less. Our lives have become so volatile. We are orphans. We need help. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, please, by the grace and mercy that you have, give us an opportunity to feel the emotions of Imam Ali alayhi and to help the Imam of our time. May we become among his followers and friends. And in this night, that is supposed to be the night in which if you were not to bless us, then we don't have any way of getting blessed. If you don't forgive us, we have no other way of forgiveness. If you don't bestow upon us what we need to stay as a human being, my Lord, we cannot have any other night. Help us. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wal-Asr. إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر.